All right, last one. We're finally on. Oh, by the way, welcome back to Animated Antics, and this time we're talking about.
What? Are you canceling the series?
The last one for the day.
Are you posting all of these in one day?
Just go with it.
You're gonna make yourself look foolish.
'Cause I never do that on this show. We're gonna watch Superman Doomsday. So, you're enjoying this, aren't you?
I am absolutely enjoying this.
Fantastic. Alright, so this is the first really mainstream DC anime movie that came out. How old is this movie now? I don't remember.
This one goes back a ways.
Like a decade older?
I'd say,
No, not that old. Like 5 years or so.
By the powers of IMDb.
Anywho, so this is the one that's a loose adaptation of the Death Superman storyline.
Yeah.
For good reason, because this Death Superman storyline was very much a product of its era, and it got kind of ridiculous as it kept going.
It's true.
With, I think, like 3-4 of the Superman that popped up after Superman supposedly died, and then Superman came back anyway. There was Cyber Superman, there was Steel, there was, like, I think it was Superboy or something like that. Either way. This one is much more straightforward, simplified one. It was also the first one of its kind to take things in a more, I don't want to say direct, more adult, a slightly more adult fashion, while still being, what?
Yeah. 2007.
2007, okay, so getting
Not
close.
quite a decade.
About 8 years. Yeah, about that, so where it goes. I'm tired, it's been a long.
16 minus 7.
Right. I don't know, fuck, whatever, moving on.
Alright,
So this one has Superman taking on Doomsday and basically losing. LA takes Doomsday with him, but... And then Lex clones Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Superman comes back, fights Clone, end of movie.
Exactly. I had forgotten about the second half of this, where there's the clone of Superman and everything. And so, with the fight with Doomsday coming up so quickly and then ending so quickly, I honestly was just like, man, is this really like a 35-minute movie? We're not far into this thing at all and this fight is over. So, I was, kind of surprised. Not necessarily pleasantly surprised, but,
Well, I mean, like, you couldn't just kill off Superman. You had to bring him back at the end of the movie.
You gotta do it. But I figured they're going to bring him back and just be like, oh, he's alive! Credits roll. But at the same time, we got some serious names going on in this one. We've got...
Like Adam Baldwin as Superman.
Exactly.
Adam, not Alec.
Yes,
I wish it was
Adam,
Alec,
not Alec Baldwin.
I kind of wish it was Alec Baldwin, but I like Adam Baldwin, so I'm okay with that. James Marsters as Lex Luthor. Do you know who that is? I honestly don't know who that is.
James Marsters he's a voice actor for audiobooks, but he's most well known for playing Spike in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Which is great, because Adam Baldwin was Jane in Firefly, so we have a number of, like, Whedon-esque cast members getting their voices into this thing.
He was also Brainiac in Smallville.
Okay.
I think the same guy, then, yeah, that should be him.
Yeah, that's him, yeah.
Yeah. Who's Anna Hetch?
She's the one who voiced Lois Lane. The credits are on the screen, so... but I honestly, I can't remember any of her other roles at this point off the top of my head.
Fair enough. But what do you think about this movie?
I enjoyed it. I think that we've been in an upward trend with the recent movies. Moving steadily higher than Batman vs. Dracula.
I still like that one.
And, consistently and dynamically higher than the Brave and the Bold's Music Meister episode.
That episode is amazing, sir.
No, it is not.
It is amazing.
It is junk.
It is amazing.
I love musicals, and that is junk.
Oh, you can't get past Neil Patrick Harris? His charisma is like at 20.
Neil Patrick Harris is amazing. If you want to sit down and watch some Dr. Horrible sometime,
I love Dr. Horrible.
It's great. No, Music Meister is just wrong.
It's amazing.
This is like what happens when we let Flash villains get into Gotham City.
That was, to be fair, that was the entirety of Brave and the Bold. Was that shit?
Yeah, it really was.
Even when the Flash was in it, it was still that shit. But anyway, back to Superman Doomsday.
Yes.
I mean, like, back when this came out, I remember it was a very big deal when this came out, because this is the first one of its kind that wasn't just a spin-off from one of the TV shows.
Yep.
It wasn't trying to pander just to kids. It was trying to pander to it was going for more like the hardcore comic fan adult crowd.
Definitely.
Which is the first time anyone did this. I think maybe Marvel kind of tried it when they released Ultimate Avengers, but even then that was playing a little safe to the vest a little bit.
Of course.
This one's like, no, we're gonna have people just beating the ever-loving shit out of each other. We're gonna have people bleeding.
We're gonna kill John DiMaggio as Toyman.
I have rights. I have nothing to say to you.
How about goodbye?
But I remember this came out, I was like, this was just an insanely brutal fight scene for its time.
Totally.
It still holds up pretty well. They kind of blew their load a little early in this movie, though, because the Superman vs. Doomsday, yes, I said that intentionally.
I know you did.
Because the Superman vs. Doomsday fight is way better than the Superman vs. Superman fight that comes in the second half.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like, man, they showed the best part early, and now we gotta stick with the rest of it.
It's true. The Superman versus Superman's clone fight isn't nearly as entertaining.
No, because this one is just, like, that one I could tell, like, they're holding back and lifting shit up, which never makes sense to me contextually, because that one's like, you really want to fight somebody, don't waste your time trying to grab things and throw each other, just punch each other. It can't be that hard to do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was Superman vs. Doomsday. There was no respite, they're just punching the fucking shit out of each other.
It's true.
They're not wasting time trying to lift shit, they're just going, no, bam, okay, bam, back, and then they run to trains, and then Doomsday rams Superman's face in a train and shit. They're just...
Well, they hadn't run into enough budget issues with collateral damage yet. Like, we need to break more stuff. Break more stuff on Superman.
It's like, for me, it like never makes much sense to go, okay, I have you down on the ground, I almost beat you. I'm going to waste my time to grab this ship and give you time to recover so I can throw the ship at you. Yeah. This is what the Superman vs. Doomsday fight is like, no, I'm going to work with whatever's in arm's reach to kill you. And I kind of respect that. In a superhero fight way. I mean, Doomsday, on his own, is not a very complex character.
No.
He's there specifically for the sole purpose of killing Superman. That's the reason that character was invented. That's the only reason he's even really a mainstay as Superman rogues go. Which is really remarkable how Superman vs. Batman vs. Superman is going to fuck that up so royally. But that's a whole nother topic, and I've gone on about that in several other videos. But that was a great fight. The voice acting's pretty solid for first go-around.
Yeah, no, the voice is great. Artistically, my only issue with this is Superman's cheekbones.
Yeah.
They just, it's like a weird swoopy T thing going on, and I'm like, man, I don't know if that's supposed to be definition or emaciation or what the heck is going on here.
It felt like they were trying to maintain the look of Superman the animated series, but change it like just enough so it's not just a carbon copy.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I kind of picture it, because he still has the beady little eyes and shit.
Yeah.
And everyone else still kind of has that very distinctive look from it from the from the 90s cartoons.
This is true. So
it's
a lot of fun.
But it's good. It's like James Martyrs is pretty good as Lex Luthor.
Martyrs, yeah.
Even though they're really making some really heavy innuendos towards the second half.
Oh my gosh, yes. The father complex with the fact that he cloned Superman.
And it's kind of
dynamic.
weird. It's really weird because there's a part where after Superman dies, quote unquote, everyone thinks he's dead, so everyone's got to grieve in their own way, which is great. I particularly really like that scene with Lois Lane and Ma Kent. I thought that was really solid.
Yeah.
Where you were making horrible jokes the entire time that scene was going on.
Yes, I was.
But anywho, so after that happens, and Lex Luthor turns out Superman returns, but it turns out it was really Lex Luthor who cloned him.
Uh-huh.
So Superman goes back to LexCorp, and Lex draws him into a room where it has red solar panels, the weakens Superman, then he beats the crap out of him. Who's texting me? Okay, just work stuff. I'll look at it later. But anywho, so, and then has green kryptonite gloves, starts beating the crap out of him, but he's saying these things that there's no way that was not written to be this way.
Yeah.
At first I was when I was a teenager watching this, I was kind of like, well, that's a bit weird. As an adult, I was like, you knew. You knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way there was meant
No
for
doubt.
anything else. Because the first thing he says, as he starts punching him, is like, "You have been a naughty little," and I was like, okay.
It's got kryptonite gauntlets, it's red and green, the colors of Christmas.
And then
You are on the naughty list.
And then he holds him up and is like, "Why did you leave me? Why?" It's like, there's some serious untold history here. Followed by, after he knocks him on the ground, going, "Who's your daddy?"
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, did he just come? I don't know what happened here.
And you are the naughty little. Why did you leave me? Why? We had so much unfinished business.
Who's your daddy?
And that keeps going even further.
It really does.
And what was the line he had when he goes back into the room later?
It's probably my favorite interaction between them is he goes into the room, puts on the gauntlets, turns back to Superman, the Superman clone who hasn't entered the room yet, and goes, "Come to daddy."
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
And
Come to Papa.
Superman's clone looks at him, reaches over and closes the door. And then just yanks the whole room out and then hurls it. And they never actually... Oh yeah, no, at the very
He's
end
alive,
we see
yeah.
Lex is alive. He's severely injured in the hospital bed, but he's alive.
That's come to Papa.
Oh man, that would have been dark.
It was just
Like if they
Lex
got all
Luthor
ready to be
died.
like, yeah, no, Lex Luthor, he's dead. He's not coming back after this.
Well, this movie, there's no sequel to this movie, so
Yeah, it's true.
It didn't really matter whether or not he lived or died anyway. That was the one gripe I had about a movie we'll talk about later, Justice League Doom. Where,
Yes.
Where it's like, where Batman quits at the end, where I'm just kind of like, well, this movie has no sequel, so this is entirely pointless.
It's true. At the same time, I think it'd be awesome in the future for them to like just pick random things. Like, it's not Superman Doomsday 2, but they decide Superman Doomsday is going to be canon for this.
Maybe
So
count
someone-
doing that.
Yeah,
maybe,
like some
I
other
don't know.
time traveler. Someone's like, well, what about Lex Luthor or something? It's like, oh shit, he cloned Superman. Superman's clone totally killed that guy.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
He didn't make it.
But anyway, back to this movie. That was like, I will say, I remember watching this when I was a teenager. Watching it again now. I think like I still have the same opinion about the woman who played Lois Lane. It's like she started off a little rough, but she got better as the movie went on.
Definitely.
Did you notice that too?
Yeah.
Because like eventually, it's like you could tell she was trying to be Lois Lane. Like she was doing the rough voice. She has this kind of weird, like almost New Yorker accent to her a little bit.
There is a Lois Lane voice that is kind of, it's I guess similar to Mark Hamill's Joker voice.
A
in
little
that
bit, yeah.
Not everyone who plays the Joker has to do that exact voice, but they gotta be in that ballpark.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know Lex Luthor couldn't care less about the homeless, Chief. He's a front to siphon money back to LexCorp so he can fund the manufacture of high-tech arms to sell on the black market.
And I've seen other actors take on the same role and done it better. But like either one, like
Yeah.
well, after Superman dies, though, I feel like that's when they kind of showed her strength a lot
It's
more.
true.
And how she kind of deals with Superman's death, and how everyone else deals with the two in their own little ways. Some accuse a bit more context. Like, unless you're a hardcore comic fan, I don't know how you know Chief had an alcohol problem.
It's true, like it's passed on subtly, but they never actually discuss it. Of holy cow, that's a giant glass of apple juice he's got there.
Yeah, because I know he's an alcoholic, or he was an alcoholic in the comic books, at least at one point or another.
Yes,
So it's
he's
like,
a recovered alcoholic, I believe.
yeah, so it's like, unless you read the comics and knew that, I don't know how you would know that already.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, that's more of a nitpick, though.
I think that's also just a journalism thing.
So just like drink.
I've got a minor in journalism, honestly, working in the news, and alcoholism. Like, I think lawyers drink more, but that's about it.
Yeah. But I think you had that terrible joke that had me
Oh my
rolling
God,
eyes,
yes.
and I think we need to talk about that because on one hand I respect it, the other hand I want to kill you at the same time.
So in this movie's version, Doomsday does not come from space, but is rather already locked away in like a spaceship prison thing that Lex's employees find deep underground during a, off-the-books operation. And Lex commands Mercy, his assistant, to eliminate all ties to it and everyone who's available, who's familiar with it. And after she does this, he goes, good, that clears up almost everything. And he pulls out a gun and kills her. Because she's, of course, the last tie who knows anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You did see to it that little mess was cleaned up.
LexCorp was never there.
And neither were you.
And at this moment, I look over at Michael and I say, he's killed her. So now there's no mercy. And he nearly fell out of his seat. It was amazing. The physical anguish this caused was so good.
And he just sat there and laughed her ass out like,
I did. I did. This is how I know I'm going to become a famous writer someday. Because I just live off of creating this kind of pain.
Next from Wes, Saw 7. Where there is no torture porn. It's just people sitting around watching Batman and Robin over and over. Dude, I used to see you. No, make it stop.
You have a way out. Take the red pill or watch this 20 more times. The choice is yours.
I didn't even get to the choice is yours. They're like pounding red pills.
Those were caffeine pills. Victory is mine. Play.
All right.
Oh,
The funny thing is, I think you're actually doing that quietly enough that the camera may not have picked you up.
I can adjust the audio.
Everybody's watching this afterwards and they're like, what was he talking about?
You get it? Make it fun of the
Of
Dark
course,
Knight Returns?
yeah.
Okay.
No, I follow. Don't worry.
What? What? What are you talking about?
Sorry. Done. My one-man show.
I really want to see Bane work at like one of those terrible drive-through speakers.
Can I have a number one meal? No onions and a large Coke. What?
Oh, sorry.
They come back and redub over it. When you've told me the size of your order, you may pull forward.
There's an innuendo for you.
Yes.
Like, that's what makes me laugh. Like, even when they're going for a more adult crowd, they're still playing it very PC. Like,
They
even
really
are. Like, even the parts where they show, like, Superman naked and, like, all the empty vials where he's being cloned. I mean, granted, I don't expect full dick and balls just to appear, mind you. But that being said... Yeah,
He means in the movie.
In the movie.
In the movie, he doesn't expect Dick and Balls to appear. In real life, it just happens.
I don't know. It's happened to us a lot this past month, actually.
It really has.
Like, there's like at least 3 different occasions where I'm just seeing Dick and Ball just hanging out in the middle of movies. So it was like, okay. It happened at Dirty Grandpa. It happened at Animalisa. And I feel like it happened in one more movie we saw last week. Like, I can't remember what it was.
We weren't going to tell them about that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Wait for that video.
Yeah.
Or wait for that to pop in the fanfiction.
Whoa.
Don't actually write that.
Write it. Write it now.
No. Oh, Fifty Shades of Black happened in that movie too.
Oh my god. Yeah, it would happen there. All
So
right.
I've seen 3 movies in the past month, 3 which had dicks in them. 2 out of 3 probably fake. 1 might be real. I don't know. But
Your life is quality.
it's been a weird month.
All
Or
right.
last month was a weird month, if I digress. We're filming this in February, by the way, in case we need a time frame, because the time it actually puts on YouTube would probably be like April. Pretty much because I'm getting really confused. Anywho. Yeah, I mean, like, other than that, the action's really good, the animation's really solid. I mean, it's still very much playing it safe with all that. The other characters are probably getting more with, like, Jimmy Olsen with that ridiculous piercing he has, and...
It's true. We're not yet to the classic style that's going to come in later on with the Justice League team and who did Justice League and Justice League Unlimited series. And they've really commandeered a lot of the recent movies.
You mean the Bruce Timm stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know if this is animated by Bruce Timm, but it does very much have his style to it.
It does have that feel. It doesn't quite have the look yet. They hadn't arrived there yet.
No, this was after Justice League Unlimited ended, so...
Interesting. Because in that case, I would say it's a different animation team.
Like, it may be the same team, but this definitely came after Justice League Unlimited ended.
Okay, because this is a different style, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, they wanted to switch it up because they're doing the animated direct-to-DVD stuff, and they wanted to separate themselves from what's come before. But this was before they started getting really experimental with their design choices. Okay. Like, we'll see as we keep going. Even the next one we have, which I think is the Final Frontier, the animation style is very, very different.
That's a completely different animation team.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun. I remember enjoying that one.
I remember liking it okay. I think, I'm going to talk about this a lot as we go forward, especially now around the more mainstream movies, that I've always been very annoyed by the time limits these movies seem to confine themselves in.
Okay.
Because, like, almost all of them are, like, 75 minutes long.
Yeah.
Which does not feel long enough for most of them. Because it feels like a lot of times it means the plot lines are really rushed, there's a lot of character plot lines are dropped out or just missing. And, like, that's why I was baffled when they released The Dark Knight Returns in 2 different parts. I was like, why not just make it 1 2-hour movie?
Yeah, I mean...
Like, that genuinely baffled me when that happens. Like, what is it this limitation here? Why can't we just make it one big thing? I never understood that. Like, maybe something
are we going to cover part 1 separately for part 2 then?
I guess we're going to have to, yeah. So,
alright then.
That's okay. The sequel will come right after.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting to those.
Oh, those are good. But like, as a start for, like, this new era of, like, direct-to-DVD anime movies they did, this was definitely a step in the right direction. And... Okay, I'll deal with that later.
Alright then.
Anywho, so, I had thought I lost it. Oh, yeah.
No worries, but Doomsday, it's
a good start.
It's worth checking out. If you're not interested in reading the comic book story of how the Doomsday Saga goes, this will give you kind of an overview. Mm-hmm. But, again, they change a lot of the details in order to tell the story that they tell here.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, like... It's good for what it is, and it's aged okay. Like, the animation still looks pretty solid, and it still looks pretty good in HD.
Definitely.
But yeah, like, this is definitely, like, the baseline for which they grow from here. And it's also... This is around the time when Marvel and DC was really at war with each other with these anime movies.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And unfortunately, Jeff Loeb eventually took over Marvel Animated and completely fucked that over. So, like, completely fucked it up. Because it was like, Planet Hulk was like the last good one they released. And then Jeff Loeb came and was like, people don't want these adaptations of classic comic book storylines that they love so much. No. You know what they like? Team-up movies. Seemingly forgetting that the Avengers is a thing. So...
You don't like Wolverine versus the Hulk?
Oh, those are good. I'm not dismissing that, but it's more just that's when like they made like Hulk and Iron Man versus this and that and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And like Black Widow and Punisher and stuff like that. I was like,
yeah,
like, and that just completely killed any momentum they had. So it's like, oh man,
it's all right because Netflix and Marvel are the greatest team ever.
That's true. You can pretty much watch all of our movies on Netflix.
Yep.
But I don't really have much else to add to this. Do you have any thoughts for Doomsday?
The sound score was very Superman-y.
Yes.
I enjoyed the sound score in this a lot. It was far better. I didn't even realize how much in Brainiac Attacks the sound score was lacking. Like, we didn't mention it at all when we covered that one.
Oh, yeah. Like, we didn't really notice it, to be honest.
It was just like the whole thing was just kind of bland. But this one had a much better sound score to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So...
No, I agree. Like, this one felt very Superman-y. It also feels like it kind of harkens back to the 90s cartoon a little bit, too.
It does. And it calls back to the 90s, and honestly, with our generation, anytime you're going to call back to the 90s, we're going to pay attention.
Yeah, because that was our generation.
It was. It was when we were kids. We weren't aware of problems in the world.
And now we are.
Yeah. Not that there weren't problems in the
that's
world.
Why
there were definitely problems in the world in the 90s.
That's why we watch cartoons now, to forget.
Yes, exactly.
Because our time right now is very interesting. And I dare not say anything right now, because it's going to be massively outdated in a few months when this video actually goes up on YouTube. So, like I said, I think it's really solid. I'm glad we're finally on the mainstream stuff, when we're finally out of that era of, we're just going to throw out shit and see what sticks kind of thing, where, like,
Definitely.
especially towards that latter half when it was just clear there was like no effort put into it whatsoever. Like with Mystery of Batwoman and Brainiac attacks and stuff like that, we're just clear like we just want the extra money.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else. That's why we have Lex Luthor played by Gorilla Grodd and the weird Bruce Wayne Batgirl affair, which still gives me the creeps.
I don't know, and yet when you watch Batman Begins, the idea that Commissioner Barbara Gordon and Bruce had a thing in the past, it's just like, yeah, okay, they're both old. I guess old people did things.
Wait, you mean Batman Begins or Return of the Joker?
Batman Begins. Sorry.
You mean Batman Beyond?
Batman Beyond.
I was gonna say, Barbara wasn't in Batman Begins.
You
What
weren't
are you
paying
talking-
attention. No, yeah, no, not Batman Begins. Batman Beyond. You have this like ongoing reference of like, whether it's a story of unrequited love or a relationship that didn't work, it's just like, oh, well, you know, it's okay. That did a lot of years have happened. Things happened.
I mean,
clearly.
they expanded on that in the comic book series, actually. They
Okay.
kind of made it more fucked up.
That's awesome.
Where it turns out, actually, Bruce Wayne knocked Barbara up.
That is not awesome.
And then Dick found out about it.
I know you mean Dick Grayson, but it's just, you know, it's like, Bruce Wayne had sex with Barbara, and then his dick found out. It's like, what?
Like, whoa, Bruce, when did this happen?
Man, I know you're secretive, but that's another level. Man.
Good night, everybody. See you all next time with
Thank you for pledging.
Final Frontier. See you guys later.
We're actually ending there.
You gotta end on a dick joke whenever you can.
Yep.